Active shake. I lost my sight when I was 7, and shortly after that, I went to a school for the blind, and that's where it was introduced to talking computers, and that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives, and one of the things
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo.
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
And then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do, but artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate, and I'm really excited to see where we can take it. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far-off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning. I'm Sakib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7, and shortly after that, I went to a school for the blind. And that's where it was introduced to talking computers, and that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives. And one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu.
I'm telling you things I've lived. I'm not preaching things I've not lived. I'm not borrowing this from a man's book. I'm telling you things I've lived. There was a time I shared this story once, you're quite surprised. There was a time some people just vehemently went and attacked us on the internet so bad. And in 1 month, we lost 400 members. 400, Pastor Alex. I called my usher. Carol asked her, how many chairs are empty behind? She faithfully went and counted them. 400 in 1 month. Every week, 100 people are leaving. Every week. So she comes to me and says, Papa, what do we do? What do we do? I told her, do nothing. I know what to do. I know how to, I know where we are. I told her, you know what?
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo.
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
And then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do, but artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate. And I'm really excited to see where we can take it. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far-off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning. I'm Sakib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7. And shortly after that, I went to a school for the blind. And that's where I was introduced to talking computers. And that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives. And one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo,
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
and then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do, but artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate. And I'm really excited to see where we can take it. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning. I'm Sakib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7. And shortly after that, I went to a school for the blind. And that's where it was introduced to talking computers. And that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives. And one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo,
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
and then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do, but artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate. And I'm really excited to see where we can take it. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning. I'm Sakib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7. And shortly after that, I went to a school for the blind. And that's where it was introduced to talking computers. And that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives. And one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo.
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
And then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do, but artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate, and I'm really excited to see where we can take it. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning. I'm Sakib Sheikh. I lost my sight when I was 7. And shortly after that, I went to a school for the blind. And that's where it was introduced to talking computers. And that really opened up a whole new world of opportunities. I joined Microsoft 10 years ago as a software engineer. I love making things which improve people's lives. And one of the things I've always dreamt of since I was at university was this idea of something that could tell you at any moment what's going on around you.
I think it's a man jumping in the air doing a trick on a skateboard.
I teamed up with like-minded engineers to make an app which lets you know who and what is around you. It's based on top of the Microsoft Intelligence APIs, which makes it so much easier to make this kind of thing. The app runs on smartphones, but also on the Pivot Head smart glasses. When you're talking to a bigger group, sometimes you can talk and there's no response, and you think, is everyone listening really well, or are they half asleep? And you never know.
I see two faces, 40-year-old man with a beard looking surprised, 20-year-old woman looking happy.
The app can describe the general age and gender of the people around me and what their emotions are, which is incredible. One of the things that's most useful about the app is the ability to read out text.
Hello, good afternoon. Here's your menu.
Great, thank you. I can use the app on my phone to take a picture of the menu, and it's going to guide me on how to take that correct photo.
Move camera to the bottom right and away from the document.
And then it'll recognize the text. Read me the headings.
I see appetizers, salads, paninis, pizzas, pastas.
Years ago, this was science fiction. I never thought it would be something that you could actually do, but artificial intelligence is improving at an ever faster rate, and I'm really excited to see where we can take it. As engineers, we're always standing on the shoulders of giants, building on top of what went before. And in this case, we've taken years of research from Microsoft Research to pull this off.
I think it's a young girl throwing an orange frisbee in the park.
For me, it's about taking that far off dream and building it one step at a time. I think this is just the beginning.
All right. Once again, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And my name is Doris Miti Chimuli, and I'm on the Uganda side with most of the people online. I will be your moderator for this session on the end of Uganda. On the other end, I have a colleague, Georgina Nyakairu Chirunda, who will also come and introduce herself in a bit. We are going to run rather brief program. As we all know, why we are here today, this is the Ambassadors IT Roundtable. And in particular, we are going to discuss what AI is doing in the space of agriculture, in the space of tourism, in mining and gas, and in the area of STEM. STEM, as we all know, refers to science, technology, engineering, and maths. And today, this afternoon, this evening on the Uganda side, morning on the US side, we are going to have a discussion from a number of seasoned experts in the different fields of agriculture, tourism, education, mining and gas, and they will be sharing their insights and how artificial intelligence is being embedded in what they're doing. Over to you, Georgina. Invite and start to introduce the group on the US side. I hope you can hear us loud and clear.
Hello.
Lovely. We can hear you, Georgina, but we have half your shoulder in the video.
Oh, sorry. Okay, that's better, right?
Yes, that's better. Let me.
Okay,
IT person, could you spotlight Georgina, please? Great.
Great. Thank you. So give me just a few minutes to get my panel online. Okay. Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, everyone around the world in Atlanta. In Atlanta, we're in Macon, Georgia, and this is the Ambassador Robbie Kakonge's IT Roundtable, second edition. The first one was in Munyonyo, Kampala, and the second one is in Macon, Georgia. So we welcome you all globally because this is a global, we're leveraging technology. So we're really grateful that you're here. For those in the room with us, all protocols observed, Honorable Ambassador, welcome you and your team and everyone here. And we have Honorable Dr. Musanero, she's online, our Minister of Science and Technology. I feel like, can they hear me? Okay, of Science and Technology and Innovation. She's online. We welcome you, Madam, Doctor, to be here with us. All protocols observed. So we're gonna get into starting our function today. And with your permission, maybe you could start us off, Honorable Dr. Musanero.
Hello, everybody, Your Excellencies, the ambassadors. Do you hear me? Do you hear me? Please give me a thumbs up. so I can know that I'm being heard. Okay. I'm very, very privileged to be here today to discuss on this ambassadors roundtable. I was privileged to be part of the first one and this second one. And this particular one is touching a subject which is very dear to my heart. That is the digital economy or the digital technologies, specifically artificial intelligence. My remarks are going to be a bit general since people are going to speak about the specific ones. And I would like to say that as we embrace, because there is no way we are going to keep away from artificial intelligence, there is no way we are going to hide anywhere. And so the best response is for us to embrace it, but not to embrace it superficially, but to embrace it from a point of knowledge. Beyond the digital tools, which are marvelous, they really make life much easier. As African nations, we have to look beyond that and look at the economy part behind it. Recently, I was privileged to be in Morocco at GITEX Africa, the third version, and I made a presentation called The Digital Economy, Africa, Mind Your Business. There has been a tendency for us to be excited about the user end. Because I now have this fantastic tool, I am going to use it. Yes, you're going to use it, but this is where the largest component of economies are going. Do we know how to use them to build the economies? Do we know how to use them to generate money from the world for us? Because I discovered that most African nations, we are focusing basically on learning how to use the tools, seeing how to apply them. And so you domicile them, you incorporate them, and we will soon find ourselves that digital tools are the biggest cost to us. At the same time, we have something which is unique to Africa. We have young people who need jobs. And if we do not harness the digital economy to create jobs rather than replace jobs, then we are going to have a big challenge. The young people will not have jobs. And so in Uganda, we have taken a rather different approach. One, we have noted that there is so much emphasis on the digital and very limited emphasis or discussion on the economic component of it. And so many African nations, Uganda included, we are just excited, digital migration, we are worried of the digital divide, which is very good, but can we have the economy part of it also thought through? And so some of the things that we have undertaken is to break down, if we're talking about AI, what are the components of that AI? What are those different components? And then identifying where could we possibly build an economy along there, such that digital and AI does not become very extractive and worsen Africa's unemployment problem. And so you will find that we are trying things like, okay, there is the hardware component of it. We have started, we are building hardware. You will not be, you'll be surprised, but we are building computer hardware. We are building sensors, we are building, and we have lifted it to a very high level because our aim is to target contract manufacturing. Because the hardware part sometimes is hardly spoken about, but it's a big chunk of money in here. So even if I'm going to run AI, I need a computer, I need something to run on it. The other one is the infrastructure, the other digital infrastructure. All the cloud spaces, Africa does not own any, and they're a big chunk of money. And so why can't Africa begin to build some of the localized clouds so that we can own data, because data is the raw material. And if you keep giving it away, you have very low compute capacity. So we are encouraging, in Uganda, we've started building that. Then the platforms take a big chunk of the money. So we are trying to build these platforms, for example, especially climate tech, where we own the climate carbon, but we do not own the technologies for verification. And you find that these technologies take a lot of the money out of the climate tech, and Africa gets very, very little. So we are taking a rather radical step. So what is my call to action for us? For us as ambassadors for Uganda, one, we are running a campaign known as polishing the pearl. We need to stop being presented as needy, aid-needing nations, and instead start presenting Uganda as a tech-producing nation. It's a tech-producing nation. We are building we are producing tech and exporting. We are building drones, we are building sensors, we are building a lot of technology, which many people have started coming. So we need you as the ambassadors to speak for us on this. We may not be able to contribute on certain things, but we have identified where we can start to contribute now and begin to present ourselves as tech-producing nations. And hence, we need market. We need people to believe in us. We need people to believe in our skills. We have a lot of human capital. So we are attracting a market of contract manufacturing. And so if you can push that, I'd actually prepared a presentation, but I was not able to do it because the time is short. Maybe in the next one, I will show you some of the things that we're doing. We also need investors. Many investors are not investing in our version of tech economy, because the mainstream tech economy, all companies are registered in Delaware, they are for exit. And so if they are for exit, Africa will never have a mega company that builds our economy and that brings money here. So we need to begin to convert that Africa can have our own version of investment. So it's a very exciting time. I know there are going to be a lot of presentations on the specific types of tech interventions in the different areas. So I thought I would present this. We are not looking for easy solutions. We are encouraging Africa to think and Africa to build. And in Uganda, we can demonstrate that. And next time you're in Uganda, I'll give you a good tour of our digital tools. We actually have an AI studio where we are building AI for Africa, and we are building databases using our own data, because Africa is poorly represented in the current AI models. So we are building our own databases, and that is an advantage to us, so that we can be a source of technology rather than consumers of technology. This is what we would love to be presented as. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Dr. Musenyero. Honorable, we are very appreciative of all those kind words. And what you've told us, invest in Africa, invest. We're innovators. We're all here in this room. We invite you to the third Ambassadors Roundtable in New Orleans and the fourth in Uganda. So we have enough time to present. All of you are welcome, because we need to build, we need to invest, we need to utilize our local resources and build. We have a lady called Miss Anne Page, and she's going to be online from Oracle, and they've already built a center in Nairobi. So when I met her, I was saying, why can't we have one in Uganda? So this will start the conversation. Without further ado, all protocols observed, I would like to invite our Honorable Ambassador, Robbie Kakonge. Thank you.
let me just say, it's on?
Yes.
Let me just say greetings to everyone and to thank you for your time, because by the time I say good morning, good afternoon, so let's just wrap it up and I say greetings. Honorable Minister, I can't thank you enough for taking the time in your busy schedule to be with us. And I also can't thank you enough for continuously pushing the agenda of AI and technology. And I'm glad that we are illustrating this by having this engagement and leveraging digital diplomacy. So this actual engagement is part of that, where when visas become an issue and other things become an issue, we can still connect. And I'm here because I was invited by our honorable council. He's the honorary council for Uganda, and he was also the first Black mayor in Macon, Georgia. So I am going to make sure that he invites you and your delegation, and we come back and we visit things like Georgia Tech, and we visit other universities, and we see how we could partner. That is not going to be a particular part of this visit, but nonetheless, we're going to work with it. And is she still on?
Yes,
And I'd
Chair.
just like to give him the microphone to at least welcome you, because we are in his city and he's the one who invited us. And also as an elder, we are in a historical building. We are in the Harriet Tubman Museum. And last night, I committed in that we're going to lead a delegation, and we're going to have a virtual component of this museum in Uganda, and more specifically in February for Black History Month. And we all know that the African Union has recognized African Americans as a historical diaspora, and our president, His Excellency, is very much in tune in to make sure that we build these diplomatic relationships, and we also continue to engage with the diaspora. So let me allow for the honorable mayor to welcome us, and then I'll say a few more things before we get started. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Honorable Ambassador, and welcome to Macon, to each and every one of you, and to those in Uganda across many miles, across many oceans, but we welcome you to Macon, Georgia. Of course, the significance of this cannot be understated, and that is connecting Africa, African Americans, and America in general to Africa as we enter into but we move further into the digital age. We've talked about the digital divide for quite some time, and we know that what's happening in Africa now more so than here. Most people in Africa, especially young people, have access to technology in their hand. Most have a cell phone, most have a smartphone, so they have access to so much information. So I commend the ambassador for looking forward, being forward-looking, and having the vision to make sure that we connect with these young people, not only with the young people, but connect with different businesses, different institutions. And we're going to do our part here to make sure that the universities, the companies, and the private sector, and others, healthcare, telemedicine is one thing. I'm working with a doctor right now that's trying to get into Uganda to do telemedicine, that people can pick up a phone and talk to a doctor at any time, day or night, and get a diagnosis and find a way to for that doctor to be compensated, whether it's a doctor there in Uganda or a doctor elsewhere in the world. So there's so many opportunities, so many possibilities that's before us, and hopefully this would just be the beginning. I know this is a second roundtable, but this is the beginning of something huge, and I commend the ambassador for having the vision and the foresight to get this moving. Again, we welcome you to Macon, Middle Georgia, the home of so many great people. Music has been at our core. Little Richard the architect of rock and roll, Otis Redding, the Allman Brothers Band, and so many had their start here. But we also have so many innovators from here as well. Dr. Scarborough, who was the very first professor to speak Greek and wrote a Greek classic. He is from Macon, Sandra Scarborough. So we welcome you again to the historic Tubman African American Museum in Macon. I look forward to the discussion this morning.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So, Honorable Minister, by the way, when you speak of health, the Honorable Minister, she is at the forefront. We know we all had an Ebola crisis, and she is among Africa, not just Uganda, but Africa's experts in public health. When they're having challenges, even in West Africa, she was at the forefront. She's a medical doctor by profession. So she just happens to be one of those people who's very laid back and calm, but really in the direction that she is taking the country in terms of innovation. She's a minister of innovation and science and technology. And that is exactly the reason why we're here addressing this as well, because as I mentioned last night, as an embassy, we have a mandate for economic and commercial development. So that is part of the economic and commercial development. And the 4 key areas, which we refer to as ATMs, are agriculture, tourism, mining and mineral development, including oil and gas extractors, but also science, innovation, and technology. So that is the reason why we're here this morning to discuss that particular topic. And also, although this is called the Ambassadors Roundtable, I'd like you to please know, Honorable Minister, that I am here with 2 officers from the embassy. Jessica is a bit busy there, and also Jolie. Jolie's in charge of the diaspora. So we were able to put this together also with Una in seeing in the diaspora that is outside DC and throughout the country, what are they doing? So we're tasking them. But of course, in between, we also have to socialize a bit. So yesterday, we had a really nice dinner. This evening, we're going to engage with them. But we always want to make sure that what we do is forward-looking, is progressive. And you can count on me. I am committed in that we are going to continue moving this. We're going to have subsequent roundtables, and then we'll get back to you in Uganda to do a second edition, which you will ably lead us to do. She's tough, so if we commit to something, we better do it and do it to the highest standards. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Honorable Ambassador Konge. Thank you so much, Honorable Dr. Musenero, for all your kind words and your expertise. And Mayor Ellis, Honorable, we thank you so much, and all the dignitaries online and offline. So we'll get into the schedule because we have a tight schedule. So I'll be the first presenter. I'll be very quick. But as I get my slides up, I would like to let you know that this is an AI-focused meeting, and this is just the beginning of something big, where at least our different speakers will be able to have more time to really get into the weeds of things. So without further ado, I'll introduce myself again. All protocols observed. Thank you for being here again. You would be somewhere doing something else, but you decided to be here with us on a Saturday morning. And in Uganda, it's actually late in the night. So we really appreciate your love, support, and care. We are a team. We're here to build an ecosystem of Ugandan talent, leveraging AI and other partners around the world. So this is a team that is just beginning, and we'll document all this, moving to the other meetings that we'll be having around different parts of the world. So again, my name is Georgina Nyakari Kirunda. I have 2 master's degrees, one from Johns Hopkins and another one from Northwestern. And I have a focus in healthcare, medical informatics, statistics, predictive analytics, machine learning, AI. I'm an AI engineer with an expertise in data science. And I'm also the UNA Director of Development. I work with UNA, with President Etibot, that is not here currently, but he will be. So all protocols observed for the UNA leadership and the local Atlanta leadership as well. So next slide, please. Before you go on, AI is here to stay, and we all need to embrace it. So I know there are myths out there that it's taking our jobs, it's doing what? It's just making us more efficient. And I hope everyone can hear me, in making us more efficient. So I'm here to let you know that we all have something to take away from AI, whichever field you're in, healthcare, logistics, supply chain, healthcare, mental health, education, agriculture, you'll hear tourism, you have something in there. And whatever you do, you have a restaurant, AI is for you because it makes you more efficient. So you have more time to use your brain to innovate as opposed to do some of these other manual things that you have to do. Look at your email. Maybe you have an AI agent that's going to look at your email and say, this will be read 2 weeks from now. This one is urgent. Work on it today. Things like that. So you have more time to rest, think, and innovate. So we're here, like the ambassador said, agriculture, tourism, gas and mining, STEM, science, technology, mathematics, and engineering, and innovation. So this is the initiative we have. And it's a big initiative. This is the beginning. We're moving on to better things. So next slide, please. Thank you. So I just want to talk about something interesting. I attended a conference a few weeks ago online, and there was something about MIT. And MIT is also one of the universities we'll be pursuing, including Harvard, Northwestern, and Georgia Tech, as Ambassador said, and others to be added on there. And it was very interesting because it talked about 2 things. There was a doctor that talked about social impact. And we have Dr. Ramona, who's going to talk about social impact. Social impact means you have a project. It has to have social impact. It's not just about making money or just that it's just for you. Like, I'll say this in our language, Luganda, and we'll translate for those that are not, you're all Ugandans now. So I'll translate that. Chikoleranzi, like it's for me. It's not for me, it's for us. Because guess what? When someone has a restaurant, quickly, you're selling something, you're getting money from the people who come and buy food from your restaurant. But you're also giving the people who have come to your restaurant nutrition. They've come to buy a product. They use it in their home. They're getting better. They're feeling strong. So it's joint effort. It's teamwork. So when I had that, it's social impact. Whatever project you're doing, leveraging AI, please make sure it has a social impact. How is it impacting the community? How is the community gaining from it? It's not just about you, because we all gain, we all move together. We are a team, like we are here online, and even more will be coming. So this is like a platform for all of us to share our talent and move forward, leveraging AI, because if we don't, guess what? AI is moving at lightning speed. We are talking AI now, but those in the tech industry know that we are on AI agents. So we have even left AI, now we're on AI agents for efficiency that can do, like, for example, I'll get a little bit wordy and say, you want to query a database. When you query your database, it's not like we developers go in and write a SQL code or Python or whatever, those are languages we use, or R. You go in and query, the agent will query it for you using natural language processing if you have an interface that can do that, and they'll pull the information from that database and give it to you in real time. So you don't have to go in and write a query and do all that stuff. No, those days are gone. So we are here in the age of AI agents. And before you know it, on 60 Minutes, I watched something the other day, and they were talking about general intelligence? General intelligence. So we're even moving from artificial to general. So we are behind, and we need to get going so that we are more competitive. We have a more competitive edge, and that's why the ambassador is here, and Dr. Mercenera and everybody else. This is a movement. We need to move now, not yesterday, not 2 years from now, because guess what? There'll be something else at that time. So another thing is at MIT, so those are the two things that they're talking about. Celebrate projects that fail. One would say, why do you want to celebrate projects that fail? Actually, the ones that fail actually teach you a lot. So if something doesn't work out, don't say, oh no, I didn't do well, or learn from it so that you improve. They actually celebrate failed projects, because those failed projects later on become your blockbuster project. So you learn from those. So that is a big, I wanted to put that message out there because I found that very interesting. So the two words are social impact and then celebrate projects that fail. So next online, the buzzwords are artificial intelligence. We talked about that, machine learning. The buzzwords, I'm not going to explain everything. Generative AI that you all know, which is our lovely ChatGPT, but now it's moved on to AI agents, and then having customized ChatGPTs using large language models. Those are trained so that they can give you what you need in the background. Normally, they use a neural network, not to get too techy, but that's what they do when they're training those large language models. Natural language processing is a big thing. When I was at Northwestern doing medical informatics, natural language processing was just there. Now it's a big thing because that's what you put in your interface when someone puts in, can you get me how many individuals are in this database that have bought my products if I have a restaurant? They'll use natural language processing. There's mechanics in the back that's going to bring out that information for you in real time. And then data science and predictive analytics, basically predicting to know where the insights are, because you can have so much data, but the data is nothing to you unless you get insights, actionable insights, meaning that how are they impacting everyone who's touching that system, the stakeholders. You know, building something marvelous is great, but does it work? And who is it working for? And what problem is it solving? So we go back to the social impact part. Is it helping the community? Yes or no? So those two things are very important. Next in line, I'll talk about 3 innovations that we have created. And when I say we, it's me and my 3 children and our husband, Mr. Andrew Kirunda, to support us. So when I was at Northwestern, I did create a clinical decision support enterprise system that's actually diagnostic. I've partnered with my daughter, Karen Kirunda. She's online. She went to Yale University and got a bachelor's in neuroscience. So we are working together. She's going to do the neuroscience piece to come up with, she came up with a diagnostic tool so that it has a patient interface and a doctor interface. And we're building it in using AWS in the cloud, using AI-driven engine. And Honorable Mayor Ellis, we actually have a telehealth component to it. So we'll get in touch with the doctor you're talking about so that we can make this happen. She'll work on that. That's the neuroscience piece, anything that's neuroscience, and I'll work on heart disease, chronic congestive heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure, and all that good stuff. And then the communicable diseases in Uganda, like malaria and the rest. The next one I'll be talking about is the Correcto app. That is also hosted by AWS. It's a health awareness and prevention app that my son, Kevin Kirunda, that's at Brandeis right now, doing computer science and engineering, has designed. as well. And this came from the fact that, I don't know if you know the numbers, but colorectal cancer is a big problem. And in the youth too. It's not just the old people, you're old, they expect you. When you look at the predictive statistics, what's out there, the youth are actually getting colorectal cancer in the US and in other parts of the world. So it's a big thing. So he came up with that app that's going to help raise awareness and then also help with the prevention. So because prevention is better than cure. So that's what he's doing. It's also on AWS. Once it's ready, he'll also be able to present it live and show you everything. Next in line is my daughter, Natasha Kirunda. She's at Brandeis as well, doing computer science and economics. And she came up with an educational app, and she's already gone to the villages to test it out. It's in STEM, which is under the ambassador's area too, and it's hosted on AWS. And she's designed that in local languages. We want to make sure that what we're designing is for us, so that the people who are also in the village can be able to utilize what we have on the ground. So she's going to include that component of different languages, so that if you're in the village and you don't feel like, oh, what is this? It's so foreign. No, we don't want foreign. We want feel at home. It can talk to you using NLP, that it's telling you do this in your own local language, so it's not too complicated. When everything is nice and rosy, you can be able to say, oh yeah, this thing works for me because they thought about you. So that's what she's doing, and all that is in AWS, and she'll be presenting at another given time. So without further ado, I would want to call Owechitiwa Gwayambade to talk about logistics, how AI is affecting logistics and supply chain. Thank you.
So my name is Abe Gwambade, and I guess I'll do a quick intro. I was born in Uganda, grew up, yes, exactly. I was born in Uganda, in Chevando, specifically for those who are from Uganda. I went to Chisasi Primary Elementary. So I'm about as Ugandan as you get. Then I came to the US, had to learn English. Came here, went to Gwinnett County, went through schools there, ended up at Georgia State, did my representing School of Business, which were number 5 in business in the US. So I decided to go computer information systems rather than computer science, because I'm more interested in how business solve the problem than actually coding for the problem, if that makes sense, right? For those who are not techie, what we usually tell people like me, we think of the concept of the web browser. And then we have people who actually build the browser, if that makes sense, right? So we figure the problem. So today we're actually going to be covering a little bit about logistics and AI. And when we talk about AI, I want to bring up a couple of things that Georgina brought up. Is whenever we think about AI, we think about the artificial intelligence. What we also need to focus about is the machine learning piece, because that's the piece that really gives you the information you need. One of the things people forget is they mix up the two words, data and information, right? They're not the same. So if I tell you 42, I gave you that, but it has no meaning until I tell you, oh, that's my age, for example, right? Then you get information out of it. So machine learning is about taking data and getting information out of it, right? So I just want to make sure that part is clear. So now what we're actually going to do here is we're going to talk about how AI, next slide, please. We're going to talk about how AI can help, especially in logistics, cover operational cost, delivery efficiency, and fleet liability. So to quickly sum up, some of the operational costs that happen in logistics, especially in sub-Saharan countries, in Africa, is spoilage. We do a lot of agriculture. Getting products from the harvester through transport, and especially if it's going to be international, takes a long time. There's logistics on roads. There's issues between crossing borders. What are you transporting? There's also breakdowns and those kinds of things. So those do have huge cost, operational cost. There's delivery efficiency. I was in Uganda last year. So to give a quick example, I went off the Northern Bypass. I was going to Mitiana, and I went through Buloba at 6 p.m. That was the worst mistake I ever made. I was stuck for about 2 hours, right? Only to find out when I called the family, like, oh, you could have taken the other road and went around the city and gotten there in about 50 minutes, you know, kind of thing. So it was very interesting. So one of the things we're going to cover is how machine learning will help you with delivery efficiency. The other thing is fleet liability. when you think about companies like, for example, here in Amazon, they do their own delivery, FedEx, UPS, they have thousands of trucks. Which truck is trying to break down? Which truck needs maintenance, right? So they don't have that information. And unfortunately, the worst thing you want to do is you have your truck fully loaded and you're trying to deliver goods and the truck breaks down, right? So that becomes a loss in goods and also lost in efficiency. So those are the main things we're going to be trying to cover here. So next slide, please. So today I came up with a quick scenario to African harvest. I'll make sure in the camera. So on the left, we have a standard harvester. Their product is ready. They harvest it. The problem is the fleet and the market don't know that they have harvest ready, right? Because their job is they go out there and they see the avocados are ready, the mangoes are ready, they get them. And then they hope somebody will come pick them up on time before they spoil. We also have the fleet vehicles here, which are kind of different vehicles. We have everybody carrying produce. We have sealed trucks. We have refrigerated trucks. All those things have to get the products to market on time. We have the dispatcher here on the bottom, who's actually, I don't know why that's happening. All right, so we have a dispatcher here whose job is to make sure that everything gets picked up. We have somebody in the market looking for the products. The problem is none of these people really know what's happening, right? The person in the market has no idea what products are available. They have no idea where the trucks are. The harvester don't know when they're going to arrive, right? So these are the things that we're actually trying to address very quickly in this scenario. Next slide, please. So our superhero who's going to come in here is a technology called CAN bus. For those who are not familiar with vehicles, this came out in 1983. Very old technology. Bosch Engineering came up with it, and then they basically licensed it to everybody, and Intel came up with the first chips around 1986. Now, every vehicle, and I have to say this, every vehicle on the road has this technology. So there's no vehicle out there that you cannot incorporate into AI. Now, what they do is like fleet trucks, they have the Kanban systems, and I have some things here we can share. They will provide you GPS location, vehicle speed, warning lights. For those of us who've been driving, your car has that check engine light that comes on. All that stuff is recorded through the CAN bus. If you're here in the US and you're doing emissions, the first thing they do is they run CAN bus to make sure you didn't tamper with the vehicle, it's in good maintenance and everything. Okay, and then the last thing that we're going to cover by here is obviously ships, trains, all that covers it. Next slide, please. Okay, so now how do we get the data out there? So most vehicles are already online, but if your vehicle is not online, there's a couple of things you can connect with. In the top left, we have OpenXCs that came up with Ford and Toyota. It works on any of your vehicle. You just plug it in, no wiring, anything needed. So if you're prototyping, excellent device. The other one is the one I use all the time is this little puppy here called OBDMX. It's the next one. It's about $50. It will work on any vehicle made after 1996. So you can do that at home. And now the other device right below that is similar to this one. It allows you to connect to satellite, Wi-Fi, and cellular at the same time. So if your vehicle is in the fleet, you just plug it into your vehicle and you get all the data live. And this is about $30. So they're very cheap to get started. So at that point, and then the bottom one is called a particle. It's about the size of a stamp, you know, kind of thing. Next slide, please. Okay, so once we get in the data online, I gave a typical scenario. This is a pickup and delivery scenario. So think about Glovo in Africa, they deliver products. Think about Safe Border, they got to pick somebody up. Think about taxes, that kind of thing, even fleets. So for those of us who are kind of brainiacs, if you look at this and you have 4 vehicles, what's the best route to pick up everything and deliver it on time, right? It's hard to figure out, so this is where a good dispatcher comes in, but it's always difficult. Next slide, please. So Google came up with the OR2 solution, which is a completely free solution that you can use. This is also what they use in their Google Maps. So it's been tried and true technology. What it actually does is you can, and I'm just going to point here quickly on the screen, you can choose any of their pre-done logic. In this case, I say I want pickups and deliveries using the same vehicle, and I had 4 vehicles. And I put in the data come from the vehicles, and it gave out the best route. So if you remember on the first slide, this one was a pickup, and the 13 to 12 was the pickup and delivery. But after it got all the data and the traffic, it said, no, pick up everything from 13, 15, and then deliver them together at the end, right? So the dispatcher doesn't need to know those kind of information, but everything routing, scenarios, you can add weather, you can add traffic information, all that kind of stuff. Next slide, please. Okay, so now we're going to look at some just quick case studies just to give you numbers. So here, last mile, Amazon did the same thing. For those who have seen, Amazon does the no more delivery by a person at the last mile. They call it the last mile. So they were able to save 15% in fuel reduction and 20% delivery time using the Google R tools. Next slide, please. All right, another one here, FedEx did the same thing. They used the same tools, added traffic patterns and weather, and they were able to save food consumption delivery times. We're looking at 20, 30% fuel. And in the slides, I have all the links in case you want to read their case studies. Next slide, please. All right, so one of the things I really want to cover now, because we got about 5 minutes. So after you get all the data, yes? 1 minute, okay. Yeah, after you get all the data, and so, yeah, we're very tight schedule. More is coming. We just want to introduce you to the concepts, right? Yeah. So the main thing here is, so once you got all the data and everything, and now you have it online, this is some of the benefits, right? You can do demand forecasting. One of the hardest things for like taxi services is where do the people need to be? If you deploy 20 cars there, but they were needed there, you lose business, right? So you can do demand forecasting, efficient transportation, because you know now where the vehicles are, what situation they're in, are they broken down, not broken down, if one breaks down, where the next vehicle that can come get it. Transparency and real-time tracking. You can see your products as they come from a farm to a truck to a ship to somewhere in Europe, right? You can see it all live. And then the last one is adaptive planning, right? Since you're getting live data, like I said in Boloba, if you're backed up, you can actually have your trucks reroute, kind of thing. All right, then I think there was one more slide, and then we should be good. All right. So basically, this is just kind of sum it up. The harvester is harvesting. He's getting all the products. He's going up online. The dispatchers knows the new products to get. He knows which vehicle are in the area, which vehicles are working well. They can pick it up. The person on the market, he's being notified that the avocados are coming. So it's now one of those like, are they arriving at 8 o'clock? Are they arriving at 9 o'clock? So everybody's in line. And all these tools online that I've discussed, they're all absolutely free. You can go home and try it out and use the OR tools. As I said, these are well used. And then the last case, just because we're talking about Africa, Kenya has a huge matatu fleet. So they did the same thing, and they saw about a 30% efficiency in delivering actual people on there. So this stuff is being tried as well in Africa. All right, and then I think that should be it. Thank you. Whew. Yeah. 5 minutes.
5 minutes is long. So thank you so much, Ostiwa, for your birthday. I know we're running a tight schedule. Like I said, this is just an appetizer. These are hors d'oeuvres. The real thing is coming, the next one and the next one, right, Ambassador? Yeah, so next we have, hold on, let me see. We have Dr. Ramona Houston. She's on site to talk about social impact. And I think you can cut your topic in 2 minutes. Yeah, no problem, I'm only joking. Yeah.
It may be a little hard for a former college professor, who like to talk.
Yeah.
Hi, good morning. Observing all protocols. Honorable Minister Dr. Ambassador Kankonge, Honorable Consul Mayor Ellis, President Etibat, and President Casolo. It's an honor to be here. Thank you very much, Georgina, for the invitation.
You're welcome.
Good morning. I'm Ramona Houston. I am actually a scholar in American history by training. I focus on American and Mexican American history. I'm a former professor at Morehouse College in Atlanta, Georgia, turned entrepreneur. I got out of the intellectual fishbowl of theory to try to move toward practice in making change. So my work focuses on social impact. Social impact really comes from the practice of social responsibility. All of us have an individual and collective responsibility to give back, right, and make an impact in our communities. And so what we do at my agency is help organizations and companies come together to make their unique impact in the community. And so the way we use ideas, is in several ways. Identifying the challenges that exist in the community, that can be in a specific industry, that can be in a specific geographical location, or it could be a specific demographic, and helping our clients to understand what the challenges are and then relating them to their particular business growth strategy. So if you go to the next slide, go ahead. I don't know why they're coming out dark. Okay, one more. So if you look at, these are some of the ways that you can make a social impact, right? Whether it's philanthropy, whether it's community engagement, ethical business and labor practices, as well as environmental sustainability and racial and social justice, which in the United States has been diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility. So we try to figure out where your organization wants to make their unique impact, because there are various ways that you can do that, right? And then AI helps us to figure out that. And then AI also helps us to figure out what are the potential solutions to those particular challenges, and how can we integrate those solutions into your business growth strategy or into your social mission if you have one. And lastly, AI helps us to figure out if our solutions are truly working and what the impact we are making. So that's a little bit about social impact and social responsibility, and how you can use AI to better integrate your social impact into your social mission. Did I make 2 minutes? Thank you. Thank you. That's the way to go. Yeah, I'm sorry, we're running a tight schedule, but bear with us. And the good thing, though, is good and bad is the lady, Miss Maria from St. George's University School of Medicine. She wasn't able to make it here. She had a family emergency, but she'll be around next time. So we'll take back a little bit of her time, but I'll just high level talk about her program. We, UNA, partnered with that school, St. George's University in Grenada, for us with their School of Medicine, to help Ugandans in Uganda and Ugandans here and friends of Uganda to pursue a medical degree at their school in Grenada. And because of our partnership, it gave those students in the US, Canada, and in Uganda 60,000 scholarship, partial scholarship, of course, because medicine is very expensive, but they have 60. You just have to apply, and you have the credentials, and you get in, and then when you're done, you'll be able to come and practice in the US or the UK, depending on where you want. And then, of course, you can also have your residency here and go back to Uganda and also do that. So that's the collaboration we have in a nutshell, but we can talk about that more on other ambassador roundtables that are coming up. All right, so thank you for your time. So we'll take back some of that time so that we can run this tight ship. Now, next in line is Miss Anna Hage. She's online from Oracle. She's going to talk about the Oracle, the OCI and AI services. I met the Oracle team. I work closely with them, and they have quite a bit of cloud infrastructure that we're talking about. The first time I spoke to them, they told me that they had a cloud data center actually in Nairobi. And I said, why Nairobi? With all the due respect, how about Uganda? Yeah, so we're going to work on that. We have all the dignitaries here that can make it happen, right? Online and on-site. Honorable Ambassador, thank you very much. Yeah, so she's online. I'm not going to take away the show, but Miss Anne, we're very, very happy to have you online. And this is the beginning of a great relationship with your organization. You have something in Nairobi, we want something in Kampala. Thank you. Go ahead.
Great. Yeah, thank you, everyone. A lot of great speakers today, so I won't take up too much of your time in going through use cases and all that. I'm just going to stay focused on the fact that Oracle Cloud is a hyperscaler vendor. So same as Amazon Web Services, AWS, Azure, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud Platform. Oracle is also one of those hyperscalers, that word we hear so often. Like, what does that mean? Essentially what it is just we have the cloud and AI infrastructure resources deployed across the world globally, similar to those other 4 companies I just mentioned. So this is a kind of an eyesore. My slides are an eyesore. I tried to fit as much as I could really quickly. But it's just kind of a snapshot to see, what Oracle's doing. It's kind of the 4th name in that mix of hyperscalers that a lot of organizations don't realize that we are one, but it is definitely going to be a force to be reckoned with in the next coming years, with all our data center deployments all across the world. And yeah, Georgina's been a friend and a collaborator of mine as I've been working with Atlanta and the whole state of Georgia, just helping organizations figure out where they can offsite some of their computing, networking, and storage resources with a vendor. So if we can go to the next slide here, I can just kind of show another eyesore snapshot of what Oracle does. Yeah, can we go to the next slide? Excellent. So yeah, this is another snapshot of just sort of what our offerings are. As you can see here on the, let me start at the bottom row here, the different types of deployments we have. Public cloud regions, you probably saw on that map. Hybrid clouds, that's if you wanted to sort of do both on-premise and in the cloud, we can sort of meet you where you're at depending on your needs and where you want to, move data, take data from, different requirements with like protecting data. A lot of organizations like to kind of have that hybrid option. So that is something that we accommodate for and even encourage in some cases. And then dedicated and multi-cloud. So multi-cloud is going to be the future. It's going to be a kind of a cocktail of mixing and matching different clouds for different reasons. So we are very accommodating for a multi-cloud strategy. So if you wanted to put something in Azure, put something in AWS, put something in Oracle Cloud, put something in Google for different reasons. And again, with AI, I know that's a topic today. It's going to become a lot more complex with all that requirements that training large language models requires. It's going to be really important that you can leverage the best of each provider. So if you are working with a hyperscaler, definitely compare and contrast the two, but also, see how they can work together and complement each other. I would definitely encourage that if you are deploying with a hyperscaler, consider a multi-cloud deployment option. But if you are working with Oracle exclusively, this is just sort of what we can offer in the cloud. Infrastructure as a service, that's, again, compute, networking, and storage. But also we have platforms as a service. So that can be your developer services, integration components, analytics. We do have machine learning and artificial intelligence as an option. So if you want to, take an out-of-the-box service right away, we already have like pre-trained models. We can do document understanding, speech and vision. I have an AI slide after, but that we have that available, whether you want to customize it and train large language models, or you just want an out-of-the-box solution, like to integrate like a ChatGPT, for example. Oracle has a similar offering there. And lastly, Oracle does have their own software too. So if you wanted to just work with us and use one of our software solutions, we have it all across the board. If you wanted human resources, finance, things like that, we have softwares for all those different business functions and lines of business. Okay, we can go to the next slide. Yes, Larry Ellison, I see that comment. Yeah, this is just a little quick snapshot again about the multi-cloud I mentioned. It is going to be the future. I won't stay on this too long, but I would definitely encourage, if you are working with you can see in that left top box there, Microsoft Azure, Google Cloud, or AWS. Oracle's number 4. We are hyperscaler too. Many don't know that, but we have the same matching computing services. We have, regionally deployed. And another thing I want to mention about our deployment strategy, I forgot on the first slide. We're the only provider that can offer universal pricing and same computing services across the world. So a lot of different other hyperscalers will have like specific computing resources and different pricing depending on where they are. We kind of standardize that, so you don't have to worry about different countries based on like if cost is like a big factor, or if there's a computing service that you specifically need, but it's in a data center super far away. We wanted to eliminate that so you could use the data center that's closest to you, because sometimes distance can create latency problems. So it's nice to have it in proximity to where you're working, where the data needs to go. And then the last slide here, we can go to the next one. I'll breeze on this real quick. This is just our AI slide here. So again, another eyesore. But if you want to look at the bottom where it says AI infrastructure, I would definitely, if you are kind of considering a hyperscaler again for training models or using AI services, make sure you compare again what AWS is offering, Azure, GCP, like do your due diligence, because there's a lot of different competitive offerings. They're building up AI data centers like rapidly across the world. It's going to be very energy intensive. It's going to be a whole thing. GPU shapes are something that we offer too from an Oracle Cloud Infrastructure perspective. So we'll work with you to kind of identify which shape makes the most sense for your workloads, and then how many GPUs are required to fulfill those workloads and train models. Again, if you're not training models though, but you do want to just have those AI services available to you, then I would kind of look into our generative AI service offering. So we can provide you with like a data science platform. We can provide you with, again, different capabilities like digital assistant, so like a chatbot, speech detection. So if I'm being transcribed right now, someone can kind of summarize what I said short, so I'm not as long-winded. Vision, scanning an object on a screen and identifying what it is. And then document understanding is really useful if you have these, really long contracts, you just want to redline what's important. They'll just scan through that natural language processing and pick out what's you need, and you can query against it. So if you want to, ask it questions, again, like that chatbot feature, it's something that we offer there. And yeah, that's all I have prepared today. Again, I'm just a cloud vendor working with Georgina, coming from Oracle. Think of us as a hyperscaler like AWS, Azure, and Google Cloud, but we're all kind of working together here trying to figure out how to best deploy AI across the world so everyone can have access to it. Thank you.
You're muted, Georgina.
Okay. Yes. So thank you so much, Ms. Anne, and your entire Oracle team. We're very grateful for that expertise and giving us a briefing on what Oracle can provide in terms of services in AI. And I did pick up something from what you said is you need to have a data center that's close by so that you can process your data efficiently. So we hope to get into conversations without, I'm not saying anything, Ambassador, but if you're, we can talk, and they're all online. So guess what? You can contact.
I don't know if I have that. I don't know if I have that
exactly.
build the data center, but I'll try.
No, we're first giving you a Uganda name, then we could organize it. Then you can, but you're already family now. Yeah, so we need that data center. Yeah, but we really thank you so much. Yeah, for spending this time with us. Yeah. All right. Not to be too wordy, since we have a tight schedule. The next online is going to be Mr. Geoffrey Chiboneka from Benue Capital. Benue Capital is actually Uganda-owned company, and it's a VC. It's a venture capital company that provides capital to startups in Uganda. And they've done quite a lot of work. So I just wanted to bring them online, and so they'll be able to explain what they're doing. I work with them closely, but the reason I did, because our community doesn't, not to disrespect anyone, all of us, including me, we don't understand what VCs are and how they work. I think that's a good thing for us to understand it. So they are the experts in this, so that they can introduce it to us, so that we know when you have a startup, how do you get money? How do you get investors? How do you present? How do you position your company so you can get money and you can grow? Because that's how it all works. You can't say that I'm going to finance with my own money or get loans or anything, which is another way, but they are the experts. They can tell you how can you scale up and get investors to invest in your product. So that's what they do. So Mr. Geoffrey Chiboneka, we're glad to have you, and thank you for your time. And here's other networks that we'll be tapping into, Honorable Ambassador. Thank you.
So, thank you, everyone, and I hope everyone can hear me. Just a brief introduction. So, Geoffrey Chiboneka, I live in San Francisco, Silicon Valley area, born in Uganda. Been in the tech industry for about 25 years. Worked at different companies, different verticals. Worked at one of the major EV companies here. But then turned into an investor. And really three things. The main thing is that really tech is the same everywhere, and tech also is an enabler, and really that's what is the foundation of building like an economy. You look at the way Silicon Valley has been built, it has been tech as a foundation, but several other things, several other concepts have to come in place, mainly policy, academia, entrepreneurship, and capital. So those four things have to come together everywhere, whether it's in Africa or the US, everywhere. So if you look at innovation, it starts in academia. Google was founded at Stanford University. So what I realized is that there's a lot of, we have universities, and I've seen what is being done, for example, in universities at Makerere University. Makerere University has an innovation lab in AI. I've seen some of the work they're doing. So all these things have to come together in order for capital to work and also to create jobs and an economy eventually. I'm also involved in other countries, not just Uganda. I'm also a mentor with Pegasus Ventures for one of their programs. So I see what's happening on the continent. So what we're talking about, AI, all these other things, yes, there is a technology, but how do you solve a problem? How do you create jobs? How do you create an economy? We have done some work at Makerere with one of our partners who is also on this call, School of Engineering. So the conversation has to continue, and not just about the technology, but those four things have to come together: capital, policy, academia, and entrepreneurship. The issue of capital is, I'm Ugandan, but capital is capital. Capital can come from anybody. Ugandans in the diaspora remit $1.5 billion. That is capital. It's just how do you use the capital? You can use capital for a wedding, for our traditional rights or whatever, but you can also put it to any innovation. That's what capital is. Capital, even in the US, is not raised differently. It's just put to a different cause. That is it. So anyone can be an investor. All of you in the room can be investors. So, and then all these terms, venture capital, really that's what it is. It's a process. For us, we focus on early stage companies, but then there's capital for later stage companies. There's a lot that can be said, but that's really the general concept. You build a company, you start with an idea, you build a team, sometimes it's expensive, you grow. Then another thing, really, what we need to realize that, companies are not built for just, one market. Because Africa right now, technology has no borders. So you build a company like in Uganda, your product can be in Kenya. So, and you scale it that way and use capital, maybe to scale or, for any other purpose. So a lot can be said, but really and I had no slide, but more can be said at other, some of these other events. Yeah, thank you.
For your expertise, and next time you'll be talking more about how VCs work and how those that have startups, those in Uganda and here, could get money, because there's a ton. Oh, sorry. Oh, there's a question. We're going to kind of put the questions for later. Yeah, if you don't mind, so that everyone gets a chance. And that was Dr. Ramona. She has a question, but we'll take it later if you don't mind. Thank you. All right, thank you so much for your time. So next in line, I'm going to actually call upon our online team. We call ourselves the Trailblazing ATMS Initiative. Thank you to Honorable Ambassador. That's our new name. So next time you see it, just don't hang up. Yes. So I'll hand it over to Doris, my colleague. We've been working together at 3 in the morning. I don't know what time it is at your side, but I know we got things done. And Premier and Diane and everybody, it's been teamwork. When you do things together collaboratively, you move mountains, if I should say. Yeah, so thank you, Ms. Doris, and I hand it over to you, and you could take it from there. And the next topic is very exciting, the agriculture piece. Yeah, thank you.
Great. Yeah. Thank you. It's been lovely, so much to learn in such a short time. For some of us non-science people, this is quite gripping stuff. Learning new things is always amazing for me. So we're going to go right into it. So we've talked about AI being used in different sectors, and the lady I'm going to invite first is a trailblazer in the agricultural sector. Her name is Agnes Mbabazi. Agnes has set the trend in so many spaces. She has over 2 decades of experience in this agricultural sector, and she's passionate and she advocates for sustainable farming practices in Uganda. She heads an organization called High Quality Agricultural Inputs, including seeds, fertilizers, irrigation systems, and greenhouses. And she's also the chairperson of CropLife Uganda, where she oversees the country's apex body for agrochemical and fertilizer manufacturers, importers, and distributors. Agnes is one of those people who's really committed to social impact, especially among women, youth, and refugee communities. And she's set up quite a number of initiatives in refugee communities at the borders between Uganda and the Democratic Republic of Uganda. She's been awarded and recognized for her service, and she recently received the Excellence in Agricultural Innovation Award as a leading African woman in agriculture at the Commonwealth Business Women Africa Summit in Nigeria that happened just last month. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome with me, Agnes, and I hope her slides will come up in a bit. Agnes, over to you as we share your slides. Kindly come on video and take it away. Okay.
Okay, thank you so much, Doris. Okay. I hope everybody can hear me.
I can hear you.
Okay, thank you so much, and greetings to everybody, all protocol observed. My name is Agnes, as mentioned by Doris. I will not introduce myself beyond that. The only one thing I want to comment is that the space of agriculture over the past 2 decades has been one of the traditional setup in Uganda. But over the past 1 decade, we've seen a lot of innovation, a lot of changes in the sector, and definitely technology and AI is going to be a big deal and a big bang in the next couple of years. Next slide, please. So I chose to speak about the opportunities in Uganda because I'm speaking to people in the diaspora and people from Uganda. And specifically, I chose to speak about avocado and relate it to how AI and technology has impacted this sector. And the reason is very simple. I know that Hass avocado is something that is very popular in the United States, and the largest exporter is Mexico, and Uganda is eyeing in a big way to export Hass avocado to the United States. And definitely we all know that agriculture in Uganda is the backbone, and it employs 80% of the population. And definitely most of them are smallholder farmers, And this means that technology and AI is going to be a big deal, is already a big deal because of connectivity and also because of accessibility to the domains and all those infrastructure. Next slide. So basically, technology is going to be very critical for us in agriculture. It's been already. And why did I choose avocado? Again, I mentioned Uganda has one of the best climates in the country, rather in the continent and globally, because we have reliable rainfall, fertile soils, and has avocado particularly is a very good crop that can do so well for those that are looking into investing in it. And this is really because Has avocado is very is a focal crop right now for everybody, especially for export. And the reason is very simple. There's ready market everywhere in Europe, in America, of course, not a big deal in Uganda, but in Arab Emirates and everywhere else, for the obvious reasons of its high oil content, which is usually between 13 to 26%. And you know that small avocado that you find in the supermarkets, basically the cholesterol content is what makes it really unique. It doesn't appetize anyone when you look at it, but it is really high nutritious. It has a longer shelf life. Of course, when you talk about techniques and challenges of transportation, it can go up to 45 days, on the sea, and you're still able to get a fresh fruit at the destination. So Uganda really stands a bigger chance for those that are looking into investing in agriculture. And obviously there are other high value crops like macadamia, like cashew nut, to mention but a few, but on top of the list is has avocado and coffee. Of course, coffee is the traditional one. And what are the investment opportunities? So basically the opportunities can be along the primary production, which is the first level of production. And then it can also be an opportunity at exportation level, which is market acceleration. Then we have agro-processing, which is value addition. And this is very interesting because there is a lot of oil products now for cosmetics. If you go to the shelves in the US and you check out in those supermarkets, you'll see a lot of oil, and most of it is based on sunflower, on avocado, because it's, again, very nutritious. Now, this brings me, of course, to the issue of agriculture technologies. This is a big deal. All of you are talking about AI. Everybody's talking about the technologies along the value chain of logistics. And these are opportunities that you guys should be looking into investing in, because in Uganda, this is one of the things that we actually lack, or we are trying to just pick up right now. And agriculture technologies that are really prevalent right now, basically in agriculture sector, but now to zero it down to us, is solar powered irrigation, which is remote controlled. There's a farm that I've been working on to do a proposal in Chenjojo, and the guy is looking into doing 80 acres, and he wants to automate everything. And we've been able to import for him small gadgets like tensiometers, which are able to detect the level of moisture in the soil to be able to know how much water you put or you apply through the irrigation system. But also small smart units like EC meter, pH meter, those little gadgets that actually make a difference, because a farmer is able to tell how much water you need to use, at any particular day, or when you need to apply it again, by just sitting in your room and having a small computer, having it connected to this app, and then you're able to see how much water you have in the soil and when you need to apply more water. So these are all investment opportunities for you guys, but also things that we can invest in as a country, because for the smallholder, it is still a big deal for us. Next slide, please. So what is the role of technology really? Like I mentioned, there are mainly high value crops that really can afford this technology. You all know that our smallholder farmers that are doing vegetables may not be able to take it up. But guys who are doing coffee, cashew nut, macadamia, it is something that you can really do very well. And basically what is available in Uganda today and what can actually be leveraged on and even made better. One of them is, of course, precision farming, and this is sensor-based irrigation systems. It's really happening more in, flower farms, in companies that are quite big on export, like guys who are doing soybean and are exporting it to World Food Program. This is a simple irrigation system that can actually be used by just using a small system. There's a particular one called Priva system, where you actually program everything and you are able to sit in your room and you can control. This is very common with the flower farms, and you can have one person really run a farm. This is also happening with avocado again, because avocado needs a lot of water, but also needs very little water at a particular time. So you have to regulate the water that you're giving it, and the sensors are able to tell you how many ppms that you need at every 1 single hour or minute. And these gadgets, once installed and connected to the computer, is very, very easy to give you, an alert, and you're able to tell your team in the field to irrigate at a particular time. The other gadgets or apps that are available now is a very, very, comprehensive one called Cropping. Cropping is very common in India. We introduced it in one of the projects we're running with MasterCard, and we're trying to do it with a smallholder farmer in northern Uganda and in western Uganda in the refugee community. So what this app does is it's installed, of course, on the phone, and the farmer can go to the field, take a picture of probably a leaf that is diseased or has, pests or fungi, and they just send that picture to the system. The system is able to diagnose, send a message to the agronomist, and the agronomist can prescribe immediately what the farmer needs. But definitely the challenge is now, how does the farmer receive the product real time? This is where the challenge still is, and this is where the gap is. But detection of diseases is really very possible by just taking a snapshot of a picture, sending it to Cropping, and it is able to interpret. The other thing it does is you're able to tell the climatic changes that will come, using the satellite system, and you can predict when to plant, you can predict when to weed, you can predict when the rains will come, so you don't plant and then you lose all your crops because you don't have the rainfall. And of course, with global change, this is very, very important, because I remember last season, farmers lost so much because many planted, and then the rain did not come for a month. So these kind of apps like Cropping, like Smart Farmer, Android apps, they are able to predict the weather. They also predict the market trend. They're able to predict the market trends, and you're able to know the potential yield, the potential prices, and the potential demand in a particular location. And this helps a farmer to know how much to grow, when to harvest, and which market you're targeting. And obviously, quality control is a big issue when it comes to Hass avocado in particular. You all look at that. I know that many of you know that fruit. You'll see it in the supermarkets in the US, very small, rough skin. It turns into black, as it gets ready. But it has a lot of issues with diseases. And just having a rough skin will just disqualify your fruit from being exported. So this means that you must detect the diseases and prescribe the remedies at the right time. Failure to do so, you will lose all the production, yet you have invested in so much. So this is so there's a particular app again that is helping on the disease detection, like I mentioned, and then also enables the farmer to know whether to put an insecticide or to put a fungicide, and also to advise on the post-harvest handling. And of course, many, many other technologies are needed along that line, because the biggest challenge for a farmer in Uganda is post-harvest handling. You've done it all, and we have a lot of wastage between the farm gate and the delivery point in Kampala and the export level in Entebbe. So that whole value chain presents a very huge opportunity for a lot of technologies that we can develop along the value chain. The supply value chain, Oweshtiwa spoke about it very, very nicely. I picked a lot of lessons from him. But again, today, it is very, very possible to have all these logistic issues handled. For example, today, a farmer is able to receive on his phone orders from, let me say, Europe, with all the specs, with all the specifications of the size, of the level of the moisture content, of the oil content, so that you don't take to the market what is not actually required by a particular market. So the logistical aspect of it is still a big challenge in Uganda, but I think for me the challenge is even more on the affordability and adaptability, because again, like I said, the smallholder farmer is still struggling with the infrastructure but also adaptability is an issue. So there's need for climate change. I think for me, in the interest of time, I didn't have to put so much here, but overall, climate change is a big deal. And so technology and AI is going to be a big, big intervention, is already a big intervention for us to increase our profitability, efficiency, and to make sure that the farmer does it right. Thank you so much. Back to you, Doris.
Thank you very much, Agnes. And please keep your questions ready and handy because we're going, once all our presenters are done, we'll go into a Q&A session. And right now, I would like to introduce and invite another gentleman. He's called Brian Ndiaguma, and he's also in the space of agriculture and the related value chains. He's going to talk about cold storage and what that means for our agricultural produce and how they are kept and transported. Brian designs enterprise ecosystems for solutions with transformational potential, like Baridi. So his company is called Chumba Baridi, a Swahili word that he will tell us what it means. And he has gone into commercializing last-minute innovations that solve systemic African market gaps. And as you can read, he partners also with the government, with the diaspora, with universities and businesses to scale transformational tech innovation. Brian, over to you.
Thank you very much. The last speakers have done a good job on speaking about agriculture and logistics, and I appreciate that. So my work, I've spent 13 years working with startups and innovators, and my lessons in the last, especially 6 years, have been that innovation struggles to be commercialized. So I now focus on working with the sources of innovation, which Tiba mentioned, are largely the universities, to pick those that are transformational and take them to market. My professional experience is innovation design and business model engineering. So Chumba Baridi is from Muni University in the West Nile region. And the West Nile region is known for its horticultural agriculture, activities. Very many farmers grow vegetables and fruits, but like most of the speakers have mentioned, there is a lot of loss, post-harvest handling loss, 30 to 40% in the fruits and vegetables that are grown. And like the last speaker mentioned, both on farm and off farm. And yet, when you look at what is left, we're still able to take it out to the market and generate about 5.8 million tons of fresh food are exported. Tons about $35 annually. But the Ministry of Agriculture is targeting 1 billion. So how are we going to get the 1 billion? The gap that I want to talk about is smart cooling and storage infrastructure. And this, for those who are interested in investment, this is a $45 million addressable market. And Baridi, or Chumba Baridi, brilliant innovation from the university, is a smart cold chain solution that preserves the harvests that have been picked and has been turned into an ecosystem. Could you go to my next slide, please? So what we've done with Baridi is to build it as an enterprise stack. And this is cooling as a service. So on one end, most of the people who have tried to build cooling services just focus on the box where people can just come and put the items and then they can take them out. The difference in our innovation is that we have a stack enterprise that many investors, entrepreneurs, can plug in. So the first one is the Baridi core, which is the infrastructure. This leverages Internet of Things technology, so we can monitor what is in the cooling box. This takes up to 1.5 tons of storage capacity. It's a hybrid cooling system, and it's low-cost modular, and it's operated by a vendor. So the agent model in Uganda took off, a while ago, many years ago, and it's something that used. No, and we're just leveraging that success and giving out these boxes as vendor-run cold rooms at the community level. Any radius that can generate up to 1.5 tons is given a box, identify a vendor, and then a box is given to them. And then these boxes are monitored remotely, which brings us to BaridiNet. And this remote monitoring captures data on booking, storage capacity, product health, product type, product source, payments, energy use, and so on and so forth. And in the back end, we're analyzing, we're forecasting, because now we know which farmer brings which products in what quantities, how long do they stay before a middleman comes and picks them. And now that data is where we have an opportunity for market access AI, because now we know what is coming and we can predict when people should come and pick which products, how much energy are we using in these boxes, which region consumes more energy versus which other region. And then the third enterprise stack is what we call the Baridi Serve. And because we know what's happening in the regions, on ground, we can now be able to customize last mile services. And now we're still just doing inputs, financing, because we know what people are growing, so we can tell what seeds to give them. We can tell what services, extension services to bring to them. But there's opportunity that we're already seeing for agriculture insurance, logistics support, market access, and farmer training, and that's already happening. The pilot area that we're working with right now, like I mentioned, is West Nile region. We've installed in 2 sites, and we've been able to see reduction from 7 kilograms, per day to 2 kilograms, and this is specific in tomatoes, the data that we have. We've also seen an increased bulk monthly absorption. So this, when you bulk up everything that has been consumed, this is what was not consumed when we were losing that gap of 30 to 40%. This has gone up from 900 to 2,500. Now, the scale opportunities that Uganda has about 158 market hubs, and this is where most of the food is aggregated. And these hubs become opportunity for all these Chumba Baridis to be taken up as business units. The AI opportunity that the one that we can already see is operational AI, because we already have installations that are telling us what's happening in these cold boxes, but our new embedment is around market access and efficiency AI, and this helps us, to get more smarter, more predictive, and generate more targeted last mile services. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Brian. I had lost my page. Thank you, Brian, once again. That is quite innovative, interesting stuff we're learning there. The next person I'm going to introduce, interestingly, is also called Brian. Brian is the founder and CEO of Tubayo. Tubayo is in the space of tourism. And what Brian has done with Tubayo is nothing short of a miracle in sub-Saharan Africa, and is guided by the values of love and work. And he founded Tubayo as a digital marketplace for travel and commerce designed to help companies start, build, and grow. Under his leadership, Tubayo operates in 10 countries, enabling over 10,000 individuals to earn extra income, supporting more than 5,000 businesses. Its strategic expansion into the US market has positioned Tubayo as a global force in African innovation, accelerating the mission forward. We celebrate you, Brian, and the excitement was palpable when we saw Tubayo on Times Square in big, bold colors. We're like, yes, Uganda has finally arrived. So over to you, Brian. You can take it away. Let's share your slides.
All right. I'll just wait on the slide. And my timer. All right, I'm excited. All protocol observed. Thank you for this great opportunity. I hope by the end of this presentation, you've planned a trip to Uganda. And for those in Uganda, you've planned to do an experience either tomorrow afternoon or next week. I founded Tubayo in 2018. And that was after getting excited about the internet and technology. After following the great people, the founder of Amazon, Zuckerberg, and just learning about the impact. And for me, what blew my mind was how one can build a platform that serves hundreds of millions of customers. I just used that simple fact to build up that courage and confidence that if I build a very solid e-commerce platform for Uganda, it's possible to serve the entire country, organize it, so there's growth for everyone. Particularly, I was excited by tourism. One, because right before COVID, tourism was the fastest growing industry across the world. These are statistics in Inc. magazine, and several other major blogs showed that tourism was growing the fastest. And a case on Uganda, I'll just highlight this, and I'll say this. Winston Churchill, a former Prime Minister of Britain, referred to Uganda as the Pearl of Africa. And when I dug deep, I noticed just about 3 things that could excite anyone anywhere in the world. We have the longest river in the world, that's the River Nile. This alone is a $1 billion opportunity. We have one of the biggest inland freshwater bodies, the Lake Victoria, with 45% of the lake area in Uganda, and the rest is shared with Kenya and Tanzania, and great weather all throughout the year. We have the gorillas, we have the big 5, biggest selection of bird species. There's basically so much to do in tourism. And one thing that excites me is the young population. In Africa, I think Uganda has the youngest population and is very ethnically diverse. And to me, there's a trend that everything, energy, gravitates towards the young. So the world should gravitate towards Uganda, and this is so much opportunity. But while seeing this tourism, we identified 3 major challenges. One is the tourism businesses were highly fragmented. So if you needed to travel, you had to research on several companies, spend so much time in weeks just to plan a 3-day trip or a week's trip. And then the poor infrastructure. Some areas have no accommodation. And then there is the inconvenience that comes when you finally discover what you want to book, but can't make payments, to confirm the booking. Next slide, please. Oh, but I will also say this. There is a quote by the president, and I think he's well-traveled. He's been around for some time, and I quote, he says, there's no better place for tourism than Uganda. This should really give us the confidence of the kind of exciting sector. So with those challenges, we built the Tubayo platform, and today we offer Tubayo Homes. Tubayo Homes is something similar to Airbnb. Here, there's a tradition in Uganda where one builds a home in town and another in the village. So this model could quickly provide access to those homes that are left vacant when one is in town, but also people build big homes, they can avail those rooms for accommodation. So the Airbnb model is so transformational for Uganda and Africa. Second, we have the Tubayo experiences. These are activities that are listed by individuals and businesses. and aggregated on one platform. We have close to about 5,000 experiences. Then we have the Tuvayo events. Tuvayo events is a product under MICE. MICE is meetings, initiatives, conferences, and events. This drives the biggest numbers of tourists in any country. If you look at Dubai, in the US, people travel for the conferences and meetings, and when they spare some time, then they engage in the activities. So we have a working product, a website, and an app. The website is tuvayo.com, and the app is Tuvayo on Apple Store and Play Store. The impact so far, we have 120,000 users. We've onboarded 3,000 hosts in the travel space with over 31,000 customers booking these activities on our platform. We are also registered in the US, launched in California, and we've won Startup of the Year 5 years, 5 Startup of the Year awards, about 3 years in a row, and we are serving 8 African markets. Next slide, please. So my visit to California in 2023 changed my perspective on the digital platform. Everything in San Francisco was AI-led. And for me, this was a point of a light bulb moment of this is the technology that's going to truly transform the digital infrastructure that we've already built. And so when I returned after that visit was to then design an AI-led strategy for Tuvayo. Everything we do is AI-led. And so right now we've developed a planner that's on the app, that's on the website. If you go to tuvayo.com, you can click on the Tuvayo AI planner, and you can just write a statement regarding booking a trip in any of the markets we are serving. And within seconds, you have a completely planned trip for you. I think this is to make planning trips easy, is to avail and organize. There's so much information we've created from all those 3,000 hosts to be so relevant to the particular user. The other thing we are very interested in and we have started building is the robotics. And really, we've seen this in hotels to standardize servicing, because once you have a great service and you set a great customer service standard, then you get to keep the customers. This is purely a business decision, but it's also the advantages of robotics, like previous speakers have shared. It's efficient, it's consistent, really and it gets to deliver so much without getting tired, just like a human being. But also the other thing we have later this year is the Afro AI show. We are taking lead on organizing the businesses that have built with AI to attract so many players, the development partners, the heads of states to come down here in Kampala and witness the different products that are being built in Kampala. The other product is the Tuvayo Homes. This is a prop tech venture where we get to take over the entire accommodations market. A study on Dubai shows that Dubai has about 800 hotels, and it has influenced it to be one of the leading destinations. So we have an aggressive strategy to build up to 500 apart hotels. These are high standard hotels to attract visitors all over the world into Uganda, but also these investments are spread out across the other markets that we are in Africa. And this is to avail 24,000 rooms in such a short time. Next slide, please. So the opportunity is we are starting with one phase of 20 apart hotels, and this is a $100 million investment that we are going to mobilize locally because we are going to build with everyone, going to do joint ventures with those that have the land, with construction companies, to avail these as quickly. They will be sold in condominium style, so we'll have less risk with our capital, but this presents a high return on investment for the diaspora or even the investors elsewhere in the world that would love to be a part of this tourism opportunity. That's it for my slide, but I'm very excited and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you, Brian. Exciting stuff indeed. We are running out of time completely. Our last presenter is Dr. David Kaketo. He is the Senior Lecturer and Dean of the Faculty of Science and Technology at Victoria University. Dean David Kaketo, if you're on, I'm going to ask that you try as much as possible to lock it in maybe 5 minutes so that we can have a close, as I'm told the ambassador and her team have another event starting in a few minutes. So over to you, Dean Kaketo.
All right, thank you, Doris. Greetings to everyone. Yeah, like we actually had agreed that we, even if you look at my presentation, I only made, I can say one slide because we were 25 minutes, but I'm glad that we can have such a good kind of discussion, especially on technology, because it now drives the economy. I'm going to be brief as requested, but I'm impressed by the submissions or presentations from different individuals. I am interested personally in looking at AI from the educational perspective. By the way, I want to bring you greetings from my boss, Professor Lawrence Muganga. He has been unable to attend, but he's with us. Actually, wanted to be part of this roundtable, but he has another engagement. So I'm representing him on this particular forum, and his submission on AI and education is actually very, very much known. Can even say now globally. He's one individual who has promoted AI in Uganda, especially in higher education. So to be brief, let me go to the next slide. And I just bring out this practical examples. When you talk of artificial intelligence with education and how we can embrace it, and there would be thoughtful kind of approaches. Now, as a university, Victoria University, actually, we've taken, I can almost lead into enabling or into creating an environment that allows our entire community to work with the artificial intelligence in a number of projects. Our students actually have been involved or they kind of taking lead in some of the software projects. But let me give a good sample of the technology we're using as a university. We have a system which I actually am proud of that we use to deliver our teaching. So most of our, I can say like 98% of our delivery is accessible on a very, very strong management system or learning management system. We call it actually Vikila system. So when you look at the way now artificial intelligence is coming in to enable facilitation of or delivery of teaching, it now makes it much easier on our side because we had already embraced technology using other kind of softwares. Now we have interest and we have started embarking on integrating AI in our system.
We lost
Where
Dr.
teaching,
David?
hello, am I audible?
Yes, you're audible. We can hear you.
Okay, I had somebody. I thought somebody was asking. Okay, so we are saying that we are trying to build an AI-based now or integrated learning management system, whereby the delivery of content, setting of assessments, or even the marking is actually done by or within the system. It simplifies, first of all, the work of administrators. It first of all does not consume time. You end up actually being more efficient and more productive because you can easily give immediate feedback to our individuals. When it comes to research, we say that when it comes to research, this is a call I can say, like Ambassador Robbie, the other time we had a discussion. So we need to have collaborative kind of research. I've had people in different disciplines or fields. We need to work now, like we are a higher institution of learning. We need to work with different sectors to really make AI benefit every individual. A minister actually stated it so well, and I liked that submission of where we need to also be producers of the tech, not mere consumers. However, there is a big challenge still in that, as we shall discuss, that even some of us, even at higher institutions, even mere consumption of the available softwares or technologies is still a challenge. So it means we need to have collaborative activities to work with the also different sectors or industries to promote technology in whatever we do. We are intending to come up with an AI lab. We've already discussed this with the ambassador. But like we said, it's quite expensive. These technologies are actually expensive, especially when it comes to production. We still have that kind of gap. And that's where we need to have collaborations. These can be, even in research, that can actually generate some kind of funds that can facilitate some of these innovations. Actually, I see some of our students and staff with very innovative, very brilliant ideas. But again, this calls for some level of funding and coordination with different kind of industries. So the other, I want to end with the last one of we need to have a regular platforms, let me use the word platforms, to discuss or to see to which level or how we can actually have real feel of technology in what we do. Because at the moment, yes, and I'm happy that even Uganda at this level, we can talk of latest technologies in terms of integrating them in our day-to-day lives. Some of our students are engaged in a project that is related to health. They are trying to develop an application, AI-related AI application, which can help to detect diseases. Even the doctor can actually call a patient when the patient is not aware that actually I have ABCD because of this new kind of application we are developing. So there is a lot you can see when it comes to IT or AI and the production, AI and the manufacturing, AI and everything. But in the interest of time, I beg to just call it off and end it there. But I want to thank each and everyone for your submissions. Thank you, Ambassador. Thank you, Minister, and everybody.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Kaketo. Thank you for keeping it within time. And Georgina, I don't know if you have any questions in your end.
We did have a question from Dr. Ramona. So we'll just
There's
go
one
through
question
it quickly.
I just want to quickly bring up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Let me go. I have to follow up with others because of time.
Good morning. I just wanted to make a statement and then ask my question. I forgot to mention that in social impact that we're talking about being global and having a global impact, that we should all attempt to tie our social impact goals into the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, which was founded by Kofi Annan, who is the first person of African descent to run the United Nations. So I just wanted to say that. But my question was to Mr. Jeffrey. He mentioned that there were 4 components that have to come together. For what was the first question? And then what were those 4 components? I know he stated capital, policy, academia, and one other element. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Ramona. We appreciate that. Sorry, we're running a tight ship, like we said.
That's a question
Forgive
for
us.
the minister.
Yeah, one second. Excuse us, we're running a tight ship. I know everyone wants to say so more, but like we said, this is just an appetizer. So I know everyone is hungry. We'll have more AI information and the second ambassadors meeting and the third. So the question, you want the question again? Hello?
Yes, kindly repeat it.
Can you kindly repeat it quickly? And we'll follow up on, okay. Yeah, we can do it offline.
All right.
We'll do it off, yeah. In the interest of time.
There was...
She's cutting up. She's cutting up. I think she's cutting up.
Oh, okay. Can you hear?
You keep cutting up.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
My internet is unstable. Apparently that question was for Mr. Geoffrey Chiboneka.
It's okay. We'll take that offline.
All right.
Due to time. Yeah, we'll take it offline. And any other questions, we're definitely going to follow up. We have all your emails and we will follow up because this is just the beginning. It's an appetizer. So due to time and we have another function happening, I want to thank everybody. I'll be inviting the ambassador to close us out, but the take home is that we need to collaborate, we need to work together. AI is here to stay, we have to leverage it. We've spoken about so many use cases in healthcare, in public health, in logistics, supply chain, education, like the list goes on, so many, tourism, so, and agriculture. So there's so much to do. This is just the snippet and the beginning of everything. We need like 2-3 days to sit down and talk and get into the weeds of everything that's going on and where the opportunities are, where the investments are. And forgive us for anything that didn't work out well. This is just the beginning. Like I said before, at MIT, if something doesn't go right, we see what didn't go right and fix it. So next time, everything goes very well, but I hope you have enjoyed, and I will invite our ambassador to come and close us out for such a great opportunity. And I want to recognize President Etibot and Dr. Matovu and the rest of you. Thank you so much, Ambassador. Honorable.
Thank you, everyone, for encourage us to the same way we invited the people to be with us today, even online. If we can just please send them the same link so that if they have questions, if they have comments, would like to continue this so that we plan accordingly.
Yes.
And of course, there's so much to cover that we may not have covered.
Yeah.
So please, your recommendations, and we'll take those into consideration in the final report that we do, so that we can make sure that we activate that. Other than that, I just really want to say a very big thank you for making this a success, leveraging digital diplomacy in real time, because this is a real meeting. And then we'll work on seeing you in Uganda. And that will be the other part, the tourism part, right? Okay, thank you. Thank you very much. On the other side, I'd like to thank Diana and Premier. You've really, really been instrumental, and we just can't thank you enough for the technical work. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. We thank you for coming today and all protocols observed. Thank you for being here. This is just the beginning. There's more to come. More to come. We'll be in New Orleans and then also in Uganda in December. So please, you're all invited to our convention, the UNA convention, and we'll continue this conversation there and in Uganda in December. Thank you.
We'll make sure Tobayo finds the place for you to stay.
Exactly.
By the way, that's another investment, you know. We're short, we don't have enough accommodation for tourists. So it's another investment that you can do.
Thank you so much.